Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. It's me again, Jen. Hello! And we are playing today with the Witches Tarot deck. This is a tarot deck I've had in my collection for a really long time, and I thought, hey, October, spooky season, it's the perfect time for the Witchy deck to come out. And I have pulled out some of the cards, so you won't see some of the more explicit cards that are in here. I say that as if it's a bad thing. It's not. They're just clearly nude and very photorealistic drawings, so I didn't want to get pulled off of YouTube. That said, if you are interested in seeing these cards, you can always send me a message in the comments or through Instagram or whatever, and you can find me, and that way I can show you some of the cool pictures that are in these cards too, without getting busted. But either way, I would like to see what card we have for today. All right. We have a 9. I think we already did another 9, but anyway, so it is towards the end of the month, so the fact that we have 9s and completion cards doesn't really shock me. So this is the 9 of Wands, and Wands are, already I see something I'm not a super fan of in this card, and it's not just the font. Those of you who know my font rants, this is kind of light. The font, it clearly says 9, but it's white font on a yellow robe, and it's hard to see. They could have put 9 at the top in the white font, or they could have made that a black font. I'm just saying. So, the thing I gravely dislike about this card, though, Wands do not represent air. Wands represent fire. And in representing fire, his robe really should probably be red. And the fact that it is not red kind of bothers me a little bit. So, yeah. This is one of those things, I've seen it happen in a whole bunch of other decks too, where swords and wands so wands should be fire and therefore red. Swords should be yellow because they are air. And those colors kind of represent that. And one would think, this is why it bothers me a lot in this deck. One would think that in a deck that prides itself on being a very pagan, Wicca, witchcraft deck, they'd get the elements right. I'm just saying. So that's my only issue, really, with this card. I really do like that the wands are kind of coming out of the mirror, because that's like, okay, so, to break it down, the 9 of Wands is about having everything in a row, and you're just about ready to kind of launch something, or you are reassessing things. You are reflecting, perhaps, on those things. So I dig the visual pun represented in this. That might almost redeem it. So the 9 of Wands represents our kind of reassessment of passions and projects and things that we have been working on. And now we're like, okay, I think I have all my ducks in a row. I think I'm ready to go with this, but let me just make sure everything is checked off and figured out. Let me do one more trial run. Let me reflect on the things that I have learned thus far. So the suit of wands really is about kind of experimentation and adventure as much as it is about creativity and passion. So I like this, that it isn't necessarily that the wands are like coming out of the mirror. I guess it kind of are, but I do think that it is about that visual pun of reflecting on things. So that's awesome. And it's a really interesting and unique way to represent the meaning of this card. I would say that if you're new to the tarot deck and you're not too sure, this might actually be one of the better 9 of wands to look at. The original ones, the more traditional ones, are going to be like 9 or 8 rods lined up, and the guy is holding or leaning on one of them. So you know it's like, okay, I set up all these, just got one more to go. Did I space these correctly? Does it look okay? That kind of thing. Where do I put this one last piece? And you can see, like, he is holding the wand. He is clearly commanding the wands that are in the mirror. He is reflecting upon that. I don't think they're attached to each other. No, there's not like a wire between it. It's all magical that they're floating there. So he's kind of, I don't know, in a way, maybe he's kind of checking his posture on his magical wand waving skills or whatnot, or checking to make sure that the wands are all balanced correctly. But either way, I do like that the reflecting aspect is so clearly represented in this card, and in a way that is kind of fun and silly and easy to remember. So, should have been wearing a red robe instead of a yellow, but I really like this card for that aspect. So, I'll give it 50% on whether I like it or not. Either way, it's a cool card, and I love this deck. And I'm going to be bummed when I'm all done reading from it for the month. But until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay spooky.